bit light on the ground for this session. Secretary General.
Presentation of papers and certain documents.
Honourable members, I call upon the Attorney General and Minister for Economy, Civil Service and Communications, the Honourable Ayaz Syed Qayyum, to table his report. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, in accordance with Standing Order 38, I present the 2019 Annual Report of the Office of the Auditor General to Parliament. Thank you, sir.
Please hand the report to the Secretary General. Under Standing Order 38, Clause 2, I refer the 2019 Annual Report of the Office of the Auditor General to the Standing Committee on Public Accounts. Secretary General.
Presentation of reports of committees.
I now call on the Chairperson of the Standing Committee on Foreign Affairs and Defence, the Honourable Alexander O'Connor, to table his report. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, sir. I am pleased to present the review report on the Kigali Amendment to the Montreal Protocol on substances that deplete the ozone layer. The Standing Committee is established under Section 109(2)(e) of the Standing Orders of the Parliament of the Republic of Fiji. The purpose of the review was to scrutinize and review the Kigali Amendment to the Montreal Protocol on substances that deplete the ozone layer, the Kigali Amendment. Parliament had referred the above amendment to the Standing Committee on Foreign Affairs and Defence at its sitting on the 28th November 2019. The committee, when reviewing the treaty, heard oral submissions, received written submissions, as well as holding public consultations in Suva and Lautoka. Those heard and consulted included the Department of Environment, the Ministry of Industry, Tourism and Trade, Department of Energy, Pacific Islands Development Forum, the UNDP Montreal Protocol and Chemicals Unit, the University of the South Pacific, the Consumer Council of Fiji, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the Office of the Attorney General. I beg your pardon, the Solicitor General. Mr. Deven Omar Kumar, the Managing Partner, Gomei Mall Climate Change Civil Litigation. Mr. Kevin Ching, Director, Foreign Appliances Refrigeration Company, and Mr. Seru Ramakita, the Refrigeration Consultant. The Fijian government acceded to the Vienna Convention on the Protection of the Ozone Layer and the Montreal Protocol on substances that deplete the ozone layer in 1989. Through the Montreal Protocol, Fiji has successfully reduced the use of ozone-depleting substances over the years. In addition, the Montreal Protocol has contributed in the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions of around 135 billion tons of carbon dioxide equivalent, making it a key contributor to the global fight against climate change. As a greenhouse gas, hydrofluorocarbon is 14,800 times more potent than CO2, or carbon dioxide, the gas most blamed for climate change due to its abundance. The amendment creates the opportunity and the potential to avoid up to 0.5 degrees Celsius of warming by the end of this century. The Montreal Protocol has evolved over time and has been amended several times to reflect the latest findings and science of the ozone layer. It has also evolved in consideration of the development and progress of ozone-depleting substances, alternative technologies. Fiji, as a party to the Montreal Protocol, has ratified all amendments to the Montreal Protocol, namely the London Amendment in 1990, the Copenhagen Amendment in 1992, the Montreal Amendment 1997, and the Beijing Amendment 1999. The most recent amendment to the Montreal Protocol is the Kigali Amendment. The amendment was agreed upon on the 15th of October 2016 in Kigali, Rwanda, and entered into force on the 1st of January 2019, with the exception of the changes to Article 4 of the Montreal Protocol set out in Article 1 of the amendment, which will enter into force on the 1st of January 2033. With the Kigali Amendment, the Montreal Protocol progressed from being an ozone protection treaty to one that also addresses climate change. For a region that is advocating limiting temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius as compared to pre-industrial levels, the implementation of the Kigali Amendment could make the required difference. As of 15th January 2020, the amendment has been ratified by 91 state parties, which includes 10 smaller Pacific Island countries. The Fijian government, through the Department of Environment, has continued to support the use of ozone-friendly technologies and gases and is committed to ensuring that Fiji understands the obligations of a party to the amendment. The department continues to support the work of the Montreal Protocol in the recovery of the ozone layer by further phasing out ozone-depleting substances, and in the process has contributed to the mitigation of climate change. Countries will face some challenges related to control of substance and improvement of servicing to avoid leakage. Also, the hydrofluorocarbons consumption tail from 2045 onwards will demand countries to prioritize allowable uses of hydrofluorocarbons. Countries will also face challenges related to the adoption of alternatives that are either toxic or flammable, maintaining safety and cost effectiveness. A developing country such as Fiji, whose annual per capita consumption and production of ozone-depleting substances is less than 3.3 kilograms, is eligible to access funding under the Multilateral Fund to support the phase-down activities. However, Fiji is yet to determine its baseline values. By ratifying the amendment, Fiji will consent to supporting the reduction of hydrofluorocarbon gases that tremendously contribute to global warming. The amendment is a binding international agreement or treaty which is intended to create rights and obligations in international law. It is designed to phase down and reduce the production of consumption of hydrofluorocarbons frequently used in refrigeration and air conditioning systems and currently used as replacements to ozone-depleting substances. The committee recommends that Fiji ratifies the Kigali Amendment with immediate effect in order to meet the phase-down schedule and the baseline for freeze that are part of the amendment. The committee commends the contribution by stakeholders that assisted in the preparation of this report. The formation of a national steering committee inclusive of all stakeholders will be beneficial towards the implementation of the treaty. I take this opportunity to also thank members of my committee for compiling this bipartisan report. On behalf of the Standing Committee of Foreign Affairs and Defense, I submit this report to the Parliament. Thank you.
Thank you. Please hand the report to the Secretary General.